The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a very, very wonderful student who was born and raised in Seoul, South Korea, now in Orange County, California. And she also went to school. She's been in the choir. She sings, and she also went to University of Dayton, where she double majored in biology and philosophy, and also graduating and went to India to teach philosophy. And on the way, she later became a model as well, too. And just a lot of interesting things about not just a multi-talented, basically singer and also a model and more. She is also one of the smartest people that I have ever interviewed, and you got to meet a very wonderful lady. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from the beautiful Plus Studios in Orange County, California, ladies and gentlemen, the very multi-talented and very multi-intelligent JiMin Kwon. JiMin, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, hello. Thank you so much for having me, Mike, and thank you very much for the kind introduction.
Well, it's great to have you as well, too. And I read a lot about you, and I'm trying to figure out where the heck to start. But basically, you've been born in Seoul, South Korea, and moved to Orange County, and you performed as a singer, and you also went to school at University of Dayton, and you double major in biology and philosophy, and you worked as an EMT. You also went to India to teach philosophy, and you also got into being a model at later on in life, and you also have some more ambitions as well, too. And before we get into all of that, tell us how you first got started.
Hi. So I did get started in modeling just this year, a month before the pandemic hit. And that was because I needed primarily a creative outlet to balance my academic life. So now I am pursuing a PhD in philosophy at the University of California, San Diego. Mm-hmm. And so, before I started modeling, I would be studying and doing research, like all day long from morning to night, and it was really easy to burn out. And I really needed to. I understood that I started accepting that I needed to be a creative person, not only in philosophy but also in art. So that's how I decided to start modeling.
And what was that one moment that precisely influenced you into getting into modeling and saying, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my career? What was that one precise moment for you?
Just having a lot of fun while shooting. And to be honest, it's not something that I know for sure that I would pursue for the rest of my life, but this is something that I am enjoying pursuing at the current stage of my life.
And also, who are some of your favorite models growing up while you're in South Korea and also in California?
Well, the funny thing is I had never thought that I would become a model before this year. So I actually just was really interested in dressing up. And when I would dress up to school and wear makeup, I just felt like I was out of place. And actually, it was my boyfriend who suggested that, well, maybe modeling is a good avenue for doing makeup and fashion stuff instead of feeling like an imposter at school. And then I started looking up postings for modeling, and I found a wedding photographer who was looking for a wedding couple. And at that time, I thought my boyfriend had agreed to do it, but he actually couldn't make it because he had prior meeting. And 1 month later, the photographer reached out to me asking if I could come in for a test shoot. So that was back in February, and that's how my modeling career got started.
That is amazing.
So I came in for the test shoot, to his office and to his studio in LA. And then I had a ton of fun shooting. Then I started collaborating with more and more photographers in my community in San Diego, Orange County, and LA. And I was eventually able to sign with a modeling agency for the LA area with No Ties Management.
Okay. And also, too, that you've been in modeling for a little bit. You've been in touch with agencies, and you're pretty much in the book. So what are some of the assignments that you've done in terms of modeling, and what's that like?
Yeah, so far, before I joined any agency, I was able to find photographers who work for some companies like Taylor Guitar, and I worked with some. I worked with Ilia Beauty, which is a clean beauty product company. So those are some of my favorite shoots that come to mind right now.
And also, what can we expect from you in 2020 and beyond? And where can we see you in about 5-10 years as a model?
As a model, I guess my dream is to be on the cover of a magazine soon. I have been published in multiple magazines so far. I've been very lucky enough to be published in the first months I started modeling, but I haven't been on the cover yet, so that would be my next goal.
And also too that you weren't aware of some models growing up and everything. How about some of your favorite actresses growing up as well too, and in the movies too, because that can be influenced when it comes to modeling.
Yeah, I think some of my favorite actresses are Emma Watson and Jennifer Lawrence. I think they're both beautiful, smart people that I respect and admire.
And also too, where can we find your modeling website at, and how do people contact you?
Oh, right now, the best way to find me is on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Panoply of Magic, PANOPLYOFMAGIC. And since I joined the modeling agency, I used to run my own website. But now that's under construction, and I'm working on I'm onboarding onto Notai's website soon.
Okay. All right. Very good. And we'll get to your modeling in just a minute. And you also have some other dissertations as well, too. I'd like to talk to you more about, how you got into biology and philosophy as well, too. And you're currently working on some projects. We'll talk about that. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with model JiMin Kwon, and also a double major in biology and philosophy here on the Mike Wagner Show. And you were born in Seoul, South Korea, and moving over to Orange County, and you also went to Ohio and University of Dayton. You majored in biology and philosophy. And tell us more about your growing up and how you got into school, getting into biology and philosophy.
Yeah, so I moved to Orange County from Korea when I was 13 with my family. And then I was a little bit depressed in high school. I didn't adjust very well to the American life, and I always felt like an outsider. So after I graduated from high school, I decided to get a U.S. citizenship and also change my name to an English name. I named myself Haley, and when I went to college to get the feeling like I was part of the American culture and that it would be easier for people to remember my name. Then I headed off to Ohio just because I wanted to start my life anew. And at that time I was a devout Catholic, so I decided to go to Dayton, which is a Catholic university, and started majoring in biology with the aspiration of becoming a medical doctor. And then eventually I decided taking more and more philosophy courses at Dayton that was enough to make me that was enough to qualify for a major in philosophy. Mm-hmm. So that's how I decided to double major in biology and philosophy. And then after graduating college in Dayton, I decided to take a gap year because I wasn't sure whether I would want to still pursue medicine or philosophy. So I decided to teach philosophy in India, Bangalore. I was in the South region called Bangalore. Mm-hmm. And I was teaching philosophy of science there, and it really suited me. I really like that philosophy opens my mind to new perspectives, and I feel like doing philosophy made a better person, and I like helping other people feel the same way through philosophy. Mm-hmm. So I decided to apply to graduate schools, and now I then applied to UCSD at that time, and now I'm doing my PhD in philosophy.
Oh, very, very nice. I'd like to talk to you more about that. But what first got you interested in biology, and what first got you interested in philosophy?
Yeah, so I was interested basically just in becoming, fulfilling the prerequisites for becoming to applying to medical school. And I thought, well, you don't have to major in biology, but that was a good major to be in if you wanted to be a medical student. So I was hoping that studying biology would prepare me to, learn human anatomy and physiology that might all come in handy in medical school. Mm-hmm. And then I took a intro to philosophy class in my first year of college because it was required as a general education at the Catholic University.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you can keep going here. So I don't know if we
sorry.
lost you. Okay, yeah, it's okay. So keep going here. So,
sorry,
okay.
Sorry about that.
All right.
So, sorry, I had a call coming in. I'm sorry. I was trying to decline that while I was in the middle of talking to you, and I couldn't. Yeah.
Oh, don't just love Brandon. Don't just love new technology. I gotta say that. So.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Don't worry about it. I mean, things happen like this, and of course, it's all about the podcast, the new social media, and everything else. I mean, things could have been worse. I mean, somebody could have walked on you on a Zoom meeting. So, just think about that. So,
yeah. So to continue, I took the philosophy class, and I met my great mentor, who was my philosophy professor at the time, and that was actually my first exposure to philosophy as an academic discipline. I didn't really know what philosophy was before going to college. But when I started reading ancient philosophers like Plato and Aristotle, I realized that the questions that they were asking were really the questions that I had been asking my entire life since I was a child. So it felt very natural to me that I am, naturally asking those questions that famous philosophers have asked, like what is good life? What are the right things to do? So essentially in the beginning, I was interested in like asking what's the right thing to do. So this is part of moral philosophy. That's what got me interested. But right now, my interest within philosophy has shifted towards philosophy of science and study of knowledge called epistemology.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was all my entire path was just wholly unpredictable. I couldn't have predicted that I would be here right now, pursuing a PhD in philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but really, I'm just happy that I'm able to. Yeah, that I am studying philosophy right now. And the job market is really bleak, and for that reason, I think it's good to have other outlets like modeling and singing and other positions to occupy my time. And I who knows what would happen in the future.
Mm-hmm. And you're also doing some current research as well, too. We'll talk more about that and also in the podcast. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking our budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with model, also a singer, and also a biology and philosophy major, JiMin Kwon here on the Mike Wagner Show. Yeah, philosopher, that's the name of it. Oh, boy, I need some coffee in one of those days, I'll tell you.
I am a professional philosopher.
Oh, my gosh, okay. Like I said, it was one of those things before we talked that we're trying to find a place to pick. It's like so much to talk about. Now we're talking philosophy here, and you got a current dissertation going on concerning the relationship between scientific knowledge, cure disagreement, and joint decision-making, bridging topics from philosophy to science, epistemology, and decision theory. And, just quickly tell us all about that.
Yeah, sorry there's a lot of jargon there. I feel like philosophy really is a discipline that, first of all, has a lot of jargons that we don't normally use in our ordinary conversation. And so it's a little bit difficult to speak to an audience that is not, like in philosophy, but I'm gonna do my best. So I'm basically concerned. I'm curious about questions about whether scientific knowledge is possible. Normally we think that it's possible to know things. That I am standing here. That I am talking on the Mike Wagner Show with Mike. But philosophers have questioned that, and that's called like realism and anti-realism debate. And right now I'm looking at, sort of similar questions, but in philosophy of science, and whether scientific theories are true. So questions like that. And, when scientists disagree about what's true and how we came about living on Earth, for example, then is it possible that all of those disagreeing people are rational? So can we have rational disagreement? So those are some of the main questions that I'm considering. And another part of my dissertation looks at how we can go about making decisions as a group. So, for example, when we make public policy, when people have disagreements based on some kind of shared evidence.
This is actually rather interesting because I did study philosophy for quite some time, but it's been about a while. So, I like to hear I like to hear more about it as well too, like with the rationalism and especially to apply it. What's going on in the world today? There's just all these fractions and just divisions, and just about everywhere you read the news. And of course, the big question is like, what's real news and what's fake news? That's what more boils down to.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting question. And I am trying to bring my research down to earth, because I think academic philosophy can be a little dry at times. And probably what I said, like maybe, maybe some of the notions were too technical. But yeah, I think eventually I would like to think about how we should go about forming public policy and then what we ought to do as citizens. If there, as you said, there's a lot of dissension right now, and there's a lot of people disagreeing about what's true and what's not true. And so when we disagree like that, I'm curious whether it's possible that people who assert P and others who assert the negation of that sentence can be both rational at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And also, in terms of science-based public policy and all the policies that you had mentioned as well, too, like group policy and more, and how these policies and decisions affect when it comes to the current coronavirus or any other crisis that's going on in this country and the world.
Well, that's a great question. So, there is a lot of uncertainty about what coronavirus is and where this is going, how much risk there is when you go out to play outside, how much risk there is as to contracting the disease, and how likely it is that you're going to get seriously sick. So when we try to make decisions about what we ought to do, whether it's like morally right to be active right now, whether it's morally active for businesses to be running, people are going to disagree. So part of my research looks at how people have different ideas and different guesses about the probabilities of those events, like getting sick, contracting the coronavirus and getting sick. And I basically argue in my dissertation that it's, we don't have to modify our beliefs about those sentences if we use the notion of probability that's imprecise rather than precise. I'm sorry if this is I'm not sure if this is making sense, but it basically proposes to gather people's different beliefs and average them in some sort of way.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Right, and also too that you also study biology as well too. And is the coronavirus something that can be defeated with a vaccine, or is it just given another name, like say the common cold, or is it complex pneumonia, or anything like that? It's how do you see the coronavirus, itself, since you're a biology major?
Oh, I mean, since it's been a while, since I studied biology, and I don't feel like I'm an expert on this topic. I don't know. I don't feel like I know enough to speak on this topic.
Okay. Well, we just want to double check on it too, and what should people do? During this time as well, especially with the coronavirus. And you also were featured in the podcast as well too, talking about the coronavirus. Was it Panoply of Magic? You're on that one, so you can just give us a take on that, and what can people do about the coronavirus?
Oh, yeah. So my podcast was with other humanities students at University of California, Irvine, and Davis. And we talked about, you can find the link on SoundCloud or my Instagram, Panoply of Magic. And we talk about, coronavirus from each of our perspectives as a philosopher, me as a philosopher, and Megan as a English PhD student, and Bashara as a cultural studies scholar. And so this podcast offers 3 different perspectives on coronavirus. So mainly what I talk about is whether we are making the right decision to, for the state to go in a lockdown in this circumstance, or is it fair that some essential workers are working and risking their lives while the rest of us are, working at home? So some of the questions that are related to morality can be found in my podcast.
And what can we find your podcast at?
It's uploaded on SoundCloud, and the same handle as my Instagram, Panoply of Magic.
Okay.
And if you find me on Instagram, then there is a link in my bio.
Okay. All right, that's very good. Once again, we're here with model, singer, and philosopher JiMin Kwon here on the Mike Wagner Show. And, you talked about being a singer as well, too, like you sang before you went to college. And any plans of resuming singing along with your modeling career?
Yes. So I love singing. I often competed in high school as a singer, and one was pretty successful. And I was doing live shows during college, up until college. And when I started graduate school, and now modeling, I'm a little too busy to start to sing all the time. But eventually I hope to get more into singing and songwriting. So that's on my agenda as well.
Mm-hmm. And of course, once again, you being a model yourself. And once again, what's the motivation for modeling?
Yeah, so my motivation started from wanting to help other women, help empower other women and encourage them to pursue natural beauty.
Uh-huh.
So I was very interested in beauty since I was little, and very insecure about my body. So I have a whole long story about all the things that I went through as a really insecure adolescent and young woman.
Uh-huh.
In college, nobody knows this except for my sister and a couple of friends that I've shared so far. But I was so insecure about my body that I decided to get breast implants when I was 22. And then I went to graduate school with that. And I really felt like an imposter because people don't even wear makeup in graduate school. And, me there as a person who's wanting to look pretty and be smart at the same time, I just felt like I was an oddball. And I really felt like it didn't suit me, so I decided to go ahead and remove the breast implants at 24, and that procedure actually made me feel really empowered and happy that I made that decision, made that choice for myself to embrace my body and who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to share the experience with other women. I want to dissuade them from going under invasive surgeries like those. And I feel like I felt like as a model, I would have a wider audience of women that I can interact with and reach out to.
Okay, and where can we find your website at when it comes to modeling?
So the website is actually under construction. I recommend it. Yeah, it's called JiMinKwon.wixsite.com, but you'll see that if you ever check it out, it's a little bit outdated. So I recommend checking out my new photos on my Instagram.
Okay, we will do that. Once again, we got the smartest model in the business right now here in the United States and beyond, JiMin Kwon here on the Mike Wagner Show. And JiMin, we have a few minutes here. You've been really fantastic. You really got me thinking and looking forward to having again soon. And what can we expect from you in 2020 and 2021 and beyond?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Okay, what can we expect from you in the future?
Okay. Maybe you can expect to see me in some of the larger beauty campaigns. So that was my goal. When I joined Birdie's management, B Squared management, and No Ties modeling management. So hopefully, I'll be part of some larger beauty or fashion campaigns that I would. You guys can see me in those, whether it's websites or magazines or billboards.
Okay.
So that's my wish right now. Yeah.
Okay, we will do that. Look forward to it. And who do you consider your biggest influence in your career?
My biggest
influence.
Influence?
Yes.
Who is my biggest influence in my career?
Correct.
So as a model, I really admire Coco Roca. I think she's pretty legendary. She's very well known for her, creative poses. So I recently got her book to study the poses, and I'm really looking forward to, being better, at just letting go and expressing myself. So, and then in philosophy, I've had several women mentors that have helped me throughout the years. Myrna at Dayton and Jennifer at University of California, San Diego. So those are my two female mentors in philosophy who have had some of the greatest impact in my life.
Okay, great. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
I think advice I want to give to people is to do things at your own pace and do things, wait to do things until you're ready to do it. I think a lot of times I didn't listen to my intuition. I didn't trust myself. And I was often feeling very overwhelmed from pushing myself so hard. But I think it's important to go at your own pace to feel happy. While, the process is really important. It's not just about the end goal.
Mm-hmm. And that's very important as well, too. Once again, JiMin Kwon here on the Mike Wagner Show, model, singer, and also a philosopher. A very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Once again, tell us about your upcoming projects, what's your website, how do people contact you, and where can people, check out your modeling or even check out your podcast or dissertation?
Thank you so much, Mike. Please find me on Instagram at Panoply of Magic. Once again, it's PANOPLYOFMAGIC, Panoply of Magic. And if you go there, there's a link tree and it contains my podcast, and it would be lovely if you could check out that podcast as well.
Sounds very good. Once again, JiMin, a very big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. We'd love to have you back in the future.
Thank you so much.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.